Greetings and welcome to the Ngoma Zethu podcast, episode 8. In this episode, we'll be talking about superiority complex. Uh, Throughout our history as human species, there's always the desire to be seen as superior or more important than others. And it's even more pronounced in situations where people want to steal from other people, they want to oppress other people. So basically, what they will do, they will use their idea, their own self um, installed idea of being superior over other people. And so with that comes with a lot of fuzzy ideas of why you consider yourself superior. But what causes somebody to to waste all this precious oxygen on acting superior all the time? When if you think you're superior, you don't have to tell people. You don't have to act. You don't have to act it out. You can just leave. You can just be if you think that you're that superior. But my observation over the years, since I was little, since I was young, when I started to see different signs that say, okay, whites only, or colored only, or Indian only, or blacks only, I kind of asked myself a question. Uh, as a young person, I didn't know who was putting these signs. You know, you're very young. You're very young, so you see, and then your parents or your uncle or your aunt, they will point out the signs. No, we can't go there. That's for whites only. And it was just like a vague concept. But when I got older, by the age of 10, 11, I started to understand that there's a certain group of people that wanted to have control of over other people. And then I started paying attention. What makes somebody to spend all this precious oxygen on things like that? Then I started to notice that with the idea of being superior comes the baggage of a complex that's just like the opposite of that, like an inferiority complex. Because for somebody to spend that amount of time on telling other people, putting signs that they're superior, or and just reminding people, and then holding all rallies with flags and banners and all kinds of things to show that they're superior, symbols and all that, uh, I realized that there's something that I need to pick up. There's something that I need to notice about these people that do things like that. Then I noticed that more and more, I looked at the photographs that were in the newspapers. Some of them were like kind of old photographs that were in books that I would see that an event that took place way before I was born. That some people came in to Africa and presented themselves as superior. And then you see a photograph of like where subjugated Africans on the floor or on the ground with some people that had guns. Maybe I don't know what was being said, but probably insulting these people. But my focus was on the people, even though I felt so angry at what was happening to my people. But my focus was on the people that were uh, acting superior. Then I started to notice that what was missing for me was that superiority thing. I thought I was going to see something that was going to be very superior. That's going to be totally. I didn't see anything. If anything, I saw very sad faces, very unattractive people physically, very unattractive people, not beautiful people. And then I realized that, oh, so this is a pattern. And then when there were like rallies that I saw with my own eyes, where people will march somewhere on the streets. I could be like a little town outside of Johannesburg. And then I started to notice that, yeah, why do these people see themselves as superior, but they're not physically, they're not attractive people. Like they're not beautiful people. Why? Then the inferiority complex that put people on the offensive all the time. When they have like there's something that's missing, and they want to try to kind of create a perception that's not there. So what they do, they creative, they create this idea that they're superior, and then they back it up with some violence, because it's always backed up with some violence. And I said, like even like getting order and order, and then traveling throughout the world, and then coming to the United States, I started reading some old history books, uh, and about the lynchings, or some kind of a court case where somebody lynched or killed a black person, and they went to court and they were acquitted. It only took like maybe 10 minutes, for the jury to acquit this group of people. So it was very tribal. But even the people that were the jury that were acquitting these people, they themselves were not attractive people. They're not superior people. When you look at it, they're not like really very people that can say, like, okay, maybe I would like to, if let's say you're a woman, like, why would you want to date that guy? There are other beautiful people. And if let's say you're a man, you're like, why would I want to date that lady? She's not that attractive, but she's acting superior. So I started to notice, then I looked at the photographs of like where some of the hate crimes, like the lynchings, where you had people come in to like a courthouse or some kind of a public square where they were lynching people. And like I said, that the focus for me has never been the victim, because the victim can, they're helpless. His own people are so terrified, are so frightened that they can like rescue him. But my focus, whether it's like a video, like an old film, or like a photograph, or old newspaper article, I always look at the faces. It'll be like thousands of people, and I'm still looking in that audience, in that crowd, to see like very superior people or attractive or beautiful people. Can't find them. Can't see them. Then I started to notice that, yes, is that inferiority complex that pushes people to do that kind of things, because beautiful people, attractive people wouldn't even have oxygen for that. They don't even have time for that. They don't even have time for that, because they'll be getting some very natural attention, where they have, it's easy to make friends, and they don't have to be aggressive to do anything. And so the same idea, even up until today, when you see all this, what they call the white supremacists, because you see more that when it comes to like what this white supremacists, you see this whole superior complex is a white supremacist disease. If you are superior, you don't have to act it. If you think that you're that superior, but and this goes, it can go beyond race. Most of the people, even like on your job, the people, those that have like really co-workers, that have people that they work with, or that have teammates that they work with, the people that always act superior always have some kind of like with some dark energy about them, but also they have like really an unresolved issue, a complex. They have some kind of like really an inferiority complex, and they always act it out. But in this instance, is not very dangerous, because it's not based on race. It's just based on some kind of somebody who's emotionally troubled, somebody who just doesn't have it together. They just think that they're superior, or they know something they don't know about, you know. And but for the history, when you talk about the history of African people and all the indigenous people, they have had to deal with this people that have this superiority complex. And like I say, that it's not enough just to act superior, because at some point, if people are not giving you the attention, they go into the next phase, which is violence. And that's where it becomes very dangerous. Because every time that you see people that think that other people shouldn't vote, or maybe their vote was cheated, was taken away from them, every time they come in, they are mentioning about their guns. They talk about their guns. They're going to do this because we have these guns for this amendment, for this, all this. And you can tell that there's a problem there. There's like a mental health issue there. Unfortunately, that problem has grown because it has been harnessed by the plantation owners. So whether it's like in Africa, where all these colonial powers, whether it be like the French, the British, the Belgians, the Germans, they brought in all these people, and they didn't care whether some of those people had some mental health issues, as long as they did what they wanted them to do. So you have somebody pretty much who has nothing going for them, nothing going for them, nothing going for them. But once they get into a sense situation, they want to act superior because now they feel empowered, because then somebody else who has like a totally different agenda, like maybe an economic agenda, or somebody who's a thief who want to take things for certain people, they can use that thug, that thug that has that inferiority complex, and elevate them to this other level where they feel superior. Yeah, they feel superior, to even the most educated indigenous people, the most sophisticated indigenous people. And so in this discussion here is very, very important, because we are circling back to square one. We are back to it again, because what happens is that when people, indigenous people, whether you can call them brown people, black people, African people, Aboriginal, once they start coming up, I mean, they are being oppressed. A whole lot of negative things are being said about them. These are the group of people that thought they were superior, have like really completely demolished these people. But these people, the oppressed, have so much endurance that they were able to get back on their feet, learn, study, start businesses. And then once the oppressed start to do well again, that superiority complex comes back again, because in their minds, like, oh, you're trying to be better than me. Now you think that you're better than me. So you can see that there's a strong inferiority complex that attract people to be dedicated, to kind of to make a pact with this idea of being superior. That every time that you hear of people going to march somewhere that they're superior and all that, look at their faces and ask yourself, are they really superior people? Are they really that attractive or that beautiful? You're not going to see those faces. Like I said, the beautiful faces are somewhere doing something that's productive. The handsome people, the beautiful people, they'll be somewhere. That's where we'll find them. We'll find them there. But it's always like these pathetic faces, people that are just like, look at this, look at this, how superior. It's sad, sometimes we're pathetic. But people have missed on that. A lot of people have missed on that. I've really missed on that there's a complex. And like I said, that unfortunately that complex has been harnessed, by the greedy people that will use those people, just like on the plantation. All kinds of oppression. The planter, the owner, the plantation owner didn't have to do the oppression. He recruited all these other group of people, and it's always those kind of people, very uninteresting people, nothing going for them. No interesting story they got to say, nothing educated, nothing brand new that they're going to tell you. Very anti-intellectual, not wanting to learn something about. Oh, that's new. I want to tell me more about it. Nothing like that. They just want to be by just some kind of like wishful thinking and magical thinking. They want to act superior. But what's driving all that is an inferiority complex. Inferiority complex, that's the best of it all. I saw it in Africa. All the old images of colonialism, those that were available starting from the late 1800s, when there was what you call the partitioning of Africa, where the European powers took over, divided Africa into bits and pieces for themselves. Whether it would be like in present day Namibia, Southwest Africa, present day South Africa, or present day Rhodesia, present day Tanzania, present day Malawi, present day Angola. You see those photographs and you see those people that are acting superior, that are posting those signs. It's no different than what you see in the United States.